What's up, Worlds Podcast? And with me, as always, it's the Casey to my Jake. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy? Also, happiest 100th episode.
I know, man. Like I I can and can't believe that we've hit 100. I
I
mean,
know.
it's just it's been so much fun.
Yes, thank you for listening to us. If you've listened to every 100, all of the episodes, good on you.
And if you are one that genuinely has, let us know. I'm curious how many there are.
Yeah, and heck, if this is your first time listening to us, let us know. If this is your whatever. Just talk to us. We're lonely.
We're so lonely. We're
Yeah.
begging, please.
Yeah, we had to make a podcast together because we're so lonely. So get some fan interaction up in here.
Anywho, to kick off our 100th episode, we're not really doing anything special.
Yeah,
so we'll just
this
get
is like
into the
actually
news.
a pretty sad one because I got zero comics to talk about. So
I know.
I just got to be using the old charm while you're talking about stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. We'll make up for it one of these days.
Yeah.
But we'll have, we'll ramble some here during the news segment. So I'll start us off with a small one. I didn't know about this until this week, but the One Ring tabletop RPG is coming out March 22nd of this year. And you can pre-order those items now. It's basically like D&D. There's a core rule book. There's like a map set and like a DM screen and all that you can get for it. I just got the player's handbook, like the rules set, but it's essentially everything you would need to run a tabletop campaign set in Middle Earth. So I doubt I'll even get to run a game for this, but it's one of those things where it's just too cool. And I want to see all the hard work that these guys put into it because chances are I'm going to love it. So,
Levi and Mike, they're pretty big Lord of the Rings fans, right?
I don't know that Mike is.
Oh, okay. Well, you work with them. He's literally your partner. You should.
He
If that's like your
is.
favorite thing, I figured you guys would have at least mentioned Lord of the Rings at least once by now.
Well, no, I mean, I think he's seen it, but like Mike's not really like a fan, like a big fantasy guy.
Oh, okay.
He likes Star Wars way more than Lord of the Rings and that kind of stuff, and like Doctor Who. But
I was gonna say if those two were fans, we 100% could play a Lord of the Rings tabletop game. Have one of those nights and then record it and put it up on our YouTubes.
Well, I think they would do it if we asked them.
Yeah, but I was hoping for excitement from them, not just like,
right.
Sure.
Let's be real. There's excitement with everything with Levi.
That's true. That's one of the best parts about him. He's just like, yeah, that sounds great.
Right.
It's like, dude, I just asked if you'd help me move. And he's like, yeah, let's do it.
Want to go shovel like a bunch of cow crap out of the pasture? And he's like, when do we start?
Yeah. I'm way ahead of you, man.
Anyway, I'm very excited for it. So the production quality and all that looks good. And which is something I think is pretty neat is they send you a free PDF of the whole thing too, as well.
Oh, nice. So, like, are you gonna get that right as it comes out and then ship the other one so you can be looking at? Okay, cool. Yep. While we're on the subject of rings and lords of them, the One Ring trailer is gonna reportedly drop on Super Bowl Sunday. So I'm assuming because you're a football fan, you're gonna be watching Super Bowl. So you got that to look forward to too.
I do. I hope that it's awesome. So Casey, I don't know. Like at first I was like, he'll be into this. And I was like, actually, I don't know that he will. Daniel Warren Johnson is co-writing a new comic book called Jurassic League. And it's the Justice League as dinosaurs.
I am 100% into it. Like, it's so dumb. And I mean, the only way it could be bad is if they're like, guess what? We're taking this very seriously. You know what? And I have like, I'm positive they're not going to. Like, it's gonna be dumb, it's gonna be cool, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be like just a good time to read comics, in my opinion. How do you feel about it?
Um, it's I don't think it's for me personally.
Yeah.
Unless you read it and you're like, dude, you have to be picking this up, then I'll check it out. But it's like, dude, there are so many things I pass up on as it is. Do I really need to get Jurassic League?
Yeah, I get that.
But I hope it's good. I'll say this: if he was like, I'm co-writing it and I'm doing the art, then I'd be like, all right, I'll get it.
Yeah.
But
No, I hear you. I am pretty hyped about it just because it should be so dumb and so much fun.
agreed.
All right, so this is like a very minor piece of news, but SH Figure Arts, they've announced today, or like last week anyway, that they're going to be making Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield No Way Home figures. And SH Figure Arts, pretty darn awesome stuff. I actually have some Godzilla figures from them, and they shoot up in price, at least the Godzilla ones. I'll grab my mecha. I got this little guy right here. He's not as
great.
posable. Yeah, he looks great. He's very dusty. I don't dust my toys, but and then I have like a burning Godzilla, and then there was a Hedorah that I wanted, but I was like, oh, they're all just jacking up the prices. And I asked Jake, and he's like, no, that's the retail. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm not doing that.
So I was gonna ask if that was like pretty par for the course for all their stuff.
It honestly just varies. Like, don't get me wrong, that Hedorah, like if you were like, oh, I want to invest $200 in something, it's a good investment because like Biolante, they did a Biolante that was like 300 when it came out, and then it got up. It's like now selling for like 800, the original one.
Dang.
Yeah, so it's like they keep their value basically, but the Godzilla, like I got that burning Godzilla from you, and I think I paid 80 for it. The Mecha Godzilla I think was 60. That's usually what a Godzilla costs. So that's why I was thinking Hedorah would be like 120 at most, and no.
Yeah. Yeah, it was steep. And I just kind of put a price tag with that name for no reason at all. So when I was like, oh, it's this much.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when you see, because like they have a Rodan that's coming out first from Singular Point, and it's like it's a little Rodan, but it comes with like a bunch of other little Rodans because that's how it was in the show, and that's like $50, and people were like, that's a good price, but it's like it's tiny. And plus, I wasn't a big enough fan of that series, and like the Jet Jaguar from that series is going for like $70 right now. So like it's just, I think since that Hedorah comes with like 3 other figures, that's the big issue. But if I'm going to pay like $200 for a figure, I know I shouldn't be going down this rabbit hole right now. I want like an X Plus where they're like this big versus like these ones that are this big that are super posable. But it's like, I'm not going to pose them because I'm not going to play with them. They're going to sit on a shelf. I want something that just looks cool.
Right. I get that. Well, maybe another company will put out a Hedorah that you like that won't be quite so steep.
That actually Mezco did. So I'm probably going to talk to you about that off the air, because they're doing like a Godzilla and Hedorah, 50th anniversary thing. So it's
nice. Well, hey, speaking of anniversaries, Casey, I know that a couple years ago, Marvel did another 2099 event, but you know what? It's the 30th anniversary this year, so they're going to do it again. But whatever. People like it. Nostalgia sells. And with this event, we're getting Loki 2099, Winter Soldier 2099, and I thought there was another one. Oh, there's several. There's Ghost Rider, X-Men, Avengers, and then Spider-Man 2099 Exodus. So if you're looking for a little crossover event to throw $5 per issue at, look for that later this year.
You know what would have? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say,
ahead.
What would have been really cool with that if they would have done like something more future Zandy with it, where like you had the 2099 guys and then someone like Spider-Man, because he's the most beloved character, pops forward to 2099 there, and instead of it being like Spider-Man 29 going back in time, vice versa, and he's got to do some hijinks to
An
fix
original
stuff.
idea? Are you
I mean,
insane?
that's not original. That's just stealing another idea and like revamping it. But at least they're not, at least it's not just these 2099 characters. You're getting Spider-Man or whoever.
Right. Nah, I get that. Um, yeah, I don't know. They didn't list full creative teams for everything, but I know that at least with the Spider-Man ones, Steve Orlando will be writing those. But I think this will probably do pretty well, at least in my store. The last one did.
Yeah, you got some 90 fanboys at your store.
Oh
huh?
yeah, for sure. Which is fine if that's what you
Mhm.
like. That's what you like.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just like that's good because I was not expecting this, you to be. I was expecting you more to be like, I don't think it's going to do too well. But then it's like, you got people 90s fans. It's like, okay, it's going to do pretty good then.
Well, 90s fans, and you got to think too, like in October, I think is when the next Spider-Verse is out, and Spider-Man
Oh, okay.
2099 is going to be in that one. So they probably just want to get some hype going for that.
Right on. You gonna check it out with since growing you're growing like for Steve Orlando. I'm not gonna say
Oh no,
love, but
no. I mean, it'd have to be somebody that I like adored to
yeah,
read this, but I never got into 2099. I
yeah.
think
I mean,
Spider-Man looks really cool.
I always thought all of them looked pretty cool, and then like I read Exiles and Spider-Man 2099 was in that, and I'm just like, I don't care much for this character. I think he's shown up since then, and I still couldn't really get into him, but he was just like he took like Spider-Man's whininess up to like the 10th level in Exiles, and I'm just like, I'm not into it. I'm not into this guy. So yeah, like all my excitement's gone out the door. So okay, so did you hear that Sony bought Bungie?
Yeah.
Okay. So they bought that, but they're not, I guess apparently they're not keeping things just on Sony. They're letting it, go all over. But their big thought is movies, and they're going to try to turn Destiny into a multimedia franchise. And I figured you, at the very least, have played Destiny. I don't hear you talk about it often, so I don't know if you're like a huge Destiny fan. Maybe I don't know if you're a Destiny's child, we could say. But is like, are you actually excited to see like a multimedia type stuff with Destiny, like comics and movies and TV show and all that nonsense?
I would check out a show or a movie. I played Destiny 1 pretty heavily uh, until several things that I don't need to get into annoyed me to the point where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I mean, a lot of people are still playing Destiny 2, and I think that it's going to be a good idea overall. I mean, the people that love Destiny really love Destiny, so I think the crowds are there for this. I wonder what else they have planned. I'm glad that I hope that they stick to the whole we're not going to be exclusive thing.
I think a big reason,
more money.
yeah, I think a big reason why they aren't doing that is because Microsoft bought out like what was Activision or
And Blizzard.
yeah, and so they're like, okay, we need to play nice with a little bit of this stuff. So
yeah.
So I have a feeling that's kind of what it is. It's very much like Cold War tactics. It's like, we won't stop if you don't.
Right. Yeah. Man, there were so many huge purchases already in the last few months. It's been wild, but I'm interested to see how this will go. And if it bleeds over into comics, then more power to them.
Yeah.
All right. Keeping on with comic news, this one just really took me by surprise. We'll see if it does you. Marvel is doing a new Secret Invasion limited series. Yeah, I know. Nobody's surprised.
Yeah.
Ryan North and Francesco Mobili will be doing this. Ryan North says that It takes place in the same universe that the first one happened in, but this one's going to be totally its own thing. And even if you haven't read the original Secret Invasion, you can jump into this just fine. So, take that as you will. I don't really care too much about it. But they're doing that Secret Invasion series. It's only Marvel to do another comic series and just milk this sucker dry. So it'll probably sell decently well.
See, I'm actually pretty interested. I'll check it out. I remember that. I think it was Robbie Thompson did that Meet the Skrulls or We're the Skrulls or whatever comic.
Yep.
And that was really interesting. That was really cool. And I'm hoping it's gonna be kind of like that, because the original Secret Invasion, amazing concept, but it just like I read the trade and it just lacked a lot of stuff that maybe it was better like if you're reading all of the titles, or maybe it was worse that way, but it just kind of fell flat for me when it finally came out. So I'm hoping this one's gonna be just awesome.
And who wrote that original one, Casey?
Old Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to crap on him with that, because I'm like, it's a really great concept. It's just, yeah.
I'm just ribbing. You know what I mean?
I know.
I know that a lot of people really like that book. So,
all right. So my last bit, like not my last bit, but my next comic book news that I wanted to share. I was going to share this last because I was most excited about it, but I'm like, let's segue good. But there's a new Fantastic Four, or the new Fantastic Four is coming back in a limited series by Peter David and Alan Robinson. It's going to start up in May. The team is, like, if you don't know the new Fantastic Four, the team is Wolverine, Grey Hulk, Spider-Man, and Ghost Rider. It's such a crazy time, because I guess like they thought the Fantastic Four had died. And so then this group was like, well, we're the new Fantastic Four. And then I think the very next issue, the Fantastic Four came back. So then this kind of just shows oh, this is what was going on between those two issues, basically. I'm pretty pumped. I love Peter David. That team, I always thought was super cool. And it leads to some trivia, Jake.
okay.
You ready? Because I know you're not
ready.
a Fantastic Four guy, but you're a comic book knowledgeable fella. Can you name at least 4 other characters that have been members of the Fantastic Four at one time, excluding the main 4?
That is some good trivia. I know She-Hulk for sure. I want to say Medusa. What's dang it, what was her name? Is it Alicia?
Alicia?
Yeah.
I don't think she technically was, because I think she's just always been a blind human, so she's just kind of
really?
adjacent, I think.
Okay. How about I think Luke Cage was on there at one point.
I think he was, yeah.
And then Crystal.
Yep. And then there's also, when Crystal, I think the first time Crystal's on there, turns out she was a Skrull, and she became, I'm blanking on the Skrull's name, but it was because she got married to Johnny Storm and they had a kid. It was surprise, I'm a Skrull. And
that is a surprise.
Yeah, because I don't remember her name now though. We had her trading card when I was younger. She-Thing was another one that you could have said.
She-Thing.
Yes. So there was a Ms. Marvel who got cosmic rays along with the Thing again, and the Thing became that extra rocky thing that I had this comics of, and she got rock skin too. She just wanted to commit suicide right afterwards because she hated it so much, but then finally she accepted it. And then Black Panther and Storm also come to mind, because they took over briefly when Reed and Sue were we need to take a break from this. It was after Civil War, I think.
Right. She-Thing was NFF, right? Future Foundation?
No, that was a pop singer no, she did show up later on though, I think. No, she showed up in James Robinson's.
She went by Ms. Thing, right?
That was so I think the person you're thinking of is the pop singer that had the purple hair.
Yeah,
had the
didn't she go by Miss Thing?
that might have, but she just had a Thing suit on.
Okay.
So I got hers was an actual power based. This person just like she just completely changed. I think in James Robinson run, she came back and was like, I've been in jail, I'm angry, and she beat up Thing for a little bit. Then like they're like, we've reconciled, I forgive you. You know, it was like got 2 issues, stuff.
Right. Well, man, we just threw out all sorts of knowledge right there.
I know. And then there's probably other ones that I'm forgetting, but those are the ones that came to mind. I'm gonna Google Crystal's scroll counterpart character because it's like it was so weird because she didn't even look like a regular scroll. Like, I mean, I don't know what the heck you would call it, but yeah, I'm trying to find.
Well, while you're looking that up, I assume because it's Peter David writing these characters that you're pretty hyped for it, and we'll check it out.
I really am. It should be pretty great. Like he writes them all well, and I think that it should just be good. I mean, the characters are all really interesting. It's gonna be fun to see how it does. I hope it's not like that. What if they stayed together and then they just get killed?
Sure.
But that's like all the what ifs. It's like, no, we did it right the first time, guys. I promise.
Okay. All right. Well, did you find it or?
I'm on the Wikipedia that's gonna say all the different ones. Oh yeah, I forgot all about Human Torch. So we had Human Torch that was later known as Nova. She became a Herald of Galactus.
Interesting.
Because I remember her from the TV show because she was like Johnny's girlfriend. She also had flame powers and stuff. And then she was like, I'll be your Herald Galactus as he's about to die. And then they go off and outer. He gives her some power cosmic to find him some planets to eat, basically.
As he does.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I know it's not coming up. Okay, I know she's a real thing. So like at the end, like I'm gonna find it no matter, and we'll figure this out because it's.
All right. Well, while you're looking, I'll continue on. We've got the complete life and final days of Obi-Wan as a comic series coming out this May. That's going to be 5 issues long, and that will be written by Christopher Cantwell and art by Ario and Indito. So I'm guessing since you don't read any other Star Wars comics, that an Obi-Wan miniseries does not interest you too much.
Not really. So like to me, a lot of those Star Wars comics, it's just like it's very hit and miss, and this is one that's gonna just be a miss for me. Like I haven't really read any since I think the Chewbacca one. So yeah. What about you though?
I might actually. I like Obi-Wan a lot, and they haven't done a huge amount with like his later days, like before A New Hope. So or at least anything that's in canon anymore. So we'll see what happens when the time comes. I might check that one out. I think it's going to sell very well.
I bet it will. Because you do have a butt ton of Star Wars boys at your coming to your shop.
So. I do, which is awesome because I like Star Wars too. It's cool to see them all get excited for it.
Okay, so the character's name was Elijah Powers. Here's what she looked like.
Oh, she looks very 90s.
Yes. She's got the, for those that are just listening, she has the classic 90s mask that the face hole is wide open though, but it covers their ears, but not their hair. And then like a little crown thing and like shoulder pads. And then she's kind of, scroll.
How do you spell it?
It would be Lyja.
Okay. Elijah Powers. Interesting.
And then my last bit of news, and this is so stupid. Dakota Johnson is set to star in Sony's Madam Web solo film because they're still doing that with S.J. Clarkson on to direct. It's like, why? I mean, that's the only problem I have. I mean, I'm sure she's gonna be great. I'll be honest. She's got the Zoe Deschanel face, where there's like about 5 actresses in Hollywood, or 5 people, and like famous people that all have the same face. It's like Zoe Deschanel, Emily Blunt, Katy Perry, Dakota Johnson. I'm sure there's some others. So, it's. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I think she was in 50 Shades of Grey. So if you saw that and you thought, wow, this girl can act, which I don't think anyone thought that when they saw that movie. I
It's like,
didn't see it.
man, this girl could be Madam Web.
Yeah, it's like, when I was watching 50 Shades, I was like, this lady, she'd be the perfect Madam Web. So yeah, I mean, I don't see how this can make any money. Like, this has to, like, this would only work if it was like a 6 episode streaming show. Like, it's just not something that you can do a 2-hour movie out of.
So I saw some just funny stuff on the internet regarding this. People are actually upset that she's not blind.
Yeah, that happens.
Like, they want someone blind. And that, I'm not laughing at the blind part. It's just people will get upset over anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bill Burr talked about this with Bryan Cranston in that movie where he plays a person that's disabled. And people were so mad. It's like, he's acting. It's his job to act. It's like, you can't just be getting mad about this type of stuff. I'm like, I'm not surprised they're mad about it. It's just like, let her act. It's not,
Right. And like, this isn't going to be, any like major thing for anybody. Like, for Sony, for comic books, like this movie isn't going to be that great.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, I would love if they got mad that Daredevil, the Charlie Cox wasn't blind. Like,
I know.
It's like, we want someone blind to be him.
It's like, guys, this isn't going to be the Citizen Kane of comic book movies. It's Madam Web. And I'm still not entirely convinced that it's going to happen until I see a trailer. And even then, it's like, how long is Morbius been set to come out and hasn't?
Yeah.
I'll say though, people were comparing the whole situation to the gal that plays Echo, because she's actually deaf and an amputee. So it's like, I realize that that's kind of like a specific thing, but I mean, that woman is also an actor. So you're not always going to get that.
And here's another thing too, though. It's Madam Web. I think this might even be an origin for her. I'm assuming it's gonna be an origin story. It's not just gonna be her going, sitting in her chair, just kind of going, Peter, watch out for this thing. I don't think it's gonna be that. So I have a feeling it's gonna be her, getting Madam Webbed up.
I sure hope it's an origin, because I don't know anything about Madam Web.
All I know is like, one of the Spider Women became Madam Web in one of the like Dan Slott run comics. That's my knowledge, because the other one died. So then this other girl got like her eyes taken out or something. Yeah, I know.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, moving on. I've got 2 more bits. We'll keep going with comics here. There is an all new, all different Savage Avengers coming out in May. Now, we were both saying we wish we would have hopped on Savage Avengers when it first started. And I want to tell you the team. Did you look up the team by chance? Or okay, cool. This will be a blind reaction. It's written by David Pepose, and art will be done by Carlos Magno. But the team, dude, is super random, but I think you'll probably dig it. So Conan is still on it because it's focused around him. But we've got Cloak and Dagger, Weapon H, which is that Hulk Wolverine thing, Deathlock, Anti-Venom, Elektra Daredevil, and Black Knight. That's the team.
I'm checking it out.
I know, right? Me too. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think that is just the most random team ever, but it could be amazing.
How funny would it be if like Weapon H is the one that takes off from this book, and then like they do the whole Wolverine like type of thing with him, where it's like he needs a real name and it's Henry now because that goes with that, H and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I hope not, but you never know.
Oh man, I'm rooting for it.
But man, if it does, his first appearance is gonna go up even more. It was way too expensive whenever it blew up the first time.
Oh yeah.
Oh dude, it was doing like $75 at least. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway. Okay. So my last bit, we did this last year, Casey, which is fun to say. We've been doing this long enough now. We're veterans of the podcast industry.
Grizzled young vets.
We are. But I wanted to tell you the top selling Diamond comics by units sold in 2021. Now, keep in mind that the DC won't be on this list because they've been with Lunar for more than that time period. But Marvel still will be because technically they still distribute Marvel. So we're going to do from 10 to 1. At number 10, we've got Star Wars The High Republic #1. Not too surprising. That's not one on this list that I'm like, oh, that surprises me. Does it surprise you?
No.
Okay. I'm going to ask that every time if it surprises you or not. Next, we've got Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters Alpha #1, the start of the whole War of the Bounty Hunters stuff. To me,
No.
not that surprising.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, the thing that they made 50 issues of after. Yeah, it's not that surprising.
Yeah. At number 8, X-Men #1.
No. Maybe I mean the only thing surprising about it is it's at 8.
Some of these others will surprise you at how high they are.
Yeah.
Number 7, Moon Knight #1. I'm kind of surprised that it's not under X-Men.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I would have like not been surprised if X-Men was like 3 or higher, but like Moon Knight being on the top 10, I am not surprised about with the show coming out and everything.
Number 6, and personally, this is the one that I am most surprised about on this list. Alien #1 by Marvel.
Yeah, that is pretty surprising. I even forgot that was a thing.
All right, top half of the list. Number 5, Venom #35, which I think was Donny Cates' final issue of the series.
Okay.
Which, by the way, was a $10 comic.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
think
pretty
about
impressive.
That. I know. Number 4, we've got Berserker #1, which was the Boom series co-written by Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that surprising that it's on the list. It's a little surprising that it's number 4.
But people were like super hot on that though, right? Yeah.
Still are. I mean, I think I sell out it's nothing that like people are like waiting in line for anymore, but it still sells out almost every issue.
Yeah.
When it comes out, which is like once every quarter nowadays. Coming in at number 3, Gunslinger Spawn #1.
It's pretty surprising because I forgot that was the thing too. But I mean, honestly though, Spawn always puts up pretty big numbers, right? Like especially when they're starting stuff. So,
Well, I mean, this is really kind of the start of them starting stuff. Spawn is up to like 320 something.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, now we're going to do all these spin-offs.
Yeah.
Number 2, House of Slaughter #1.
That one's shocking.
And then the best-selling comic.
I'm gonna guess something Spider-Man.
No.
Oh, okay.
Then this will surprise you if that was your guess. King Spawn #1.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, because like just looking back, I mean, I'm maybe just going off like my 90s boom brain, but it's like when Spawn 1 came out, it was like people were buying like 50 at a time. So I mean, more Spawn 1s, they're like, yeah, let's do this all over again.
Yeah, as many copies of Spawn #1 as there are out there, that book in Very Fine will still fetch like $40.
That's pretty awesome. I saw this funny thing though on Twitter today where they're like, the reason why, or it might have been Instagram, but it doesn't matter. But the dude was like, the reason why I don't get into NFTs because I was a 90s comic book fan, and he like shows like all of these like it was like Death of Superman, all these other ones. He's like, so I know when a bubble's gonna burst.
That's great. One of my favorite parts of Twitter is just watching people crap all over NFTs. I think it's hilarious.
Like, I think both sides of it, like the people are like so adamant, like, oh, I hate them, you're stupid, and the other side's like, well, actually, I'm like, you guys are both just terrible.
Yeah, but I think one's a little more terrible than the other. But anyway, that's it. That's the news. I wish I got this from Diamond, but they didn't give how many units were sold, which really bugged me. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but
more than likely.
But anyway, all right, that is the news. So now we're going to take our ad break, and when we get back, I will talk about some comics that I read this week.
And I will comment on what he says.
We'll be right back. All right. What are we casually chatting about this week?
I don't know, man. Should we do, since we're at the 100th episode, should I like go back and listen to all of our old podcasts and put like the best of?
Dude, what kills me is like all of our friends and family like listen to the first few. So like our best listening numbers are on some of those early episodes that I personally think were just bad.
Yeah,
because
more
we didn't
than
really
likely
know what we were doing. You know what I mean? And the quality sucked. Dude, those
like
first like audio,
is...
oh god, it was so terrible. So it's like I really wish that those people would try us again because we've improved so much. But those episodes walked so that our current episodes could run.
I guess so. I never know what that means when people say
it. But anyway.
Because I mean, just think about it. Like, some of our best ofs, I already know Calabac Girl would have to be in our best ofs for sure.
Yeah, there was another like really good one because we wanted to do shirts for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. It was Wonder Woman kills, and wait, Batman can fight? Remember? It was those quotes from Our Ladies.
Oh yeah. That was
Oh gosh. We've had some doozies, that's for sure.
And there's times where like I'll be editing and I'll like type out like, oh, this will be then I'll be like, wow, this is way too long of a sentence to be our title, so I'm gonna have to find something better. Because I'll be like,
oh goodness.
Yeah, I was like, because like there's one time where it was something that I thought was hilarious. I typed it all out on our Anchor thing, and it was like taking up the whole thing. Like all you would see is like the first half of a sentence. I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna grab anybody's attention.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we started doing that because I think it's hilarious that there's always some quote that we say that ends up being funny.
Yeah.
And like with anything, it's when we're not even trying. But that's part of the charm.
Yeah, I mean it's like our friendship. It just works better when we're not even trying for it.
Wait, you don't try?
No, man. We're piloting we're piloting a tugboat for 2 and neither of us are trying. It's not going anywhere. It's working great.
I guess.
It's
Is a tugboat for 2 the new name of the episode?
Oh, it can't, because this is the YouTube only. So like tugboat, like we'll have all these tugboat fans coming in to listen, and then they're gonna be like, "There's no tugboat talk on this. This is bullshit."
just so many tugboat fans.
Yeah, the tugboat aficionado will write a whole article about us, and they're like, "Oh, they're fucking liars, not talking about tugboats at all."
And that's just a whole other audience that we've lost.
I know. I mean, we would lose. Maybe we can bring some tugboat talk next week. Have a whole dedicated.
We'll call it the Tugcast.
That's perfect.
And if we had time to do all these genius spinoffs, man,
it's like, just give us a tug, guys. That'll be our catchphrase.
Give us a tug. Dude, I love it. That could be a shirt.
Yeah.
Man, it'd go over great at,
It'd be a Spencer's gift shirt, easy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Spencer's, give us a call. We've got tons of shirt ideas.
They're like, trust us, it's easy to come up with shirts for us.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Okay, well, we can get back to it now.
Yeah,
we're just talking about nothing.
Pretty much.
Welcome back, folks. If you'd like to hear Casey and I reminisce about some of our favorite things that we've said or done these past 100 episodes, then go and check out our YouTube channel, which is Two Worlds Podcast over on YouTube. There's Tugboat Talk.
Oh, maybe this will be the name of the episode. Old Tugboat Talk. We have lots of laughs.
Yeah.
Come up with a catchphrase. It's great.
We give Spencer's like the idea of the century.
Yeah.
So
and then we also I'm going to toss out to you guys. Comment down below if you think we need to do a best of episode, and we'll do that.
Yeah. But we're not going to do it unless you guys say something.
Unless we get 5 comments. Let's do that.
Five people need to say, we want a best of. And we'll see if it happens.
Yeah.
And if you're taking the time to say yes, do a best of, tell us your favorite moment from this show so far.
Yeah.
Like what has been funny, or I'll say heart touching.
They're gonna be like, when you guys went on YouTube so we can see how sexy you are. And we can be like, oh, that's what you look like.
Oh, but moving right along, now it is time for the Hour Man 1 hour comic review Jake Solo series. I'm really running out of names at this point
Should we just do it 30-minute this time since it's just you?
Yeah, it's gonna be a quick one because a lot of these we read together and I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, we'll still make it shorter.
Nice.
All right, so this week I read Star Squadron, Dark Knights of Steel, Monkey Prince, Suicide Squad, Daredevil Woman Without Fear, Star Wars Halcyon Legacy, The Thing, Batman, and Arkham City Order of the World. Now, the reason that Casey did not get his comics this week is because St. Louis, as well as a good chunk of the Midwest, hit some pretty nasty weather this week. We got hit by a winter storm. There was ice, there was snow, and my shop wasn't able to open for a couple days, and therefore the mail could not pick up the package to send to Casey. So he'll get a double batch of comics this week and just have so much to read.
Yep, it's gonna be great.
So I had to give that big long explanation while I took all these out of their bags and boards because I'm not that prepared.
I got you. So your chair you're sitting in is called an S racer. I saw it. Is it for racing games normally, and you're just using it for regular gaming and podcasting?
No, I think what the honest answer is that there's a really expensive gaming chair brand called DX Racer. We're talking
Oh,
like $500 plus per
oof.
chair.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to pay that. So I looked on Amazon and there's a knockoff called S Racer that is very affordable.
That's awesome. That's actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so I'm going to start off with The Thing number 4. And it's written by Walter Mosley and art done by Tom Riley. You may remember I wasn't super hot on that last issue. This one wrote me back in. It was much better. There are certain things that I don't care for. And this isn't too spoilery. But there's one point where Thing is with his new hookup and she's dishing out love, like the word love, like my love and I love you. And it's like, it's a bit soon for that, isn't it?
I mean, just taking from stuff that happened in the last issue, though, it sounds like not everything is as it seems with her. So,
I agree for sure. That doesn't make it any less uncomfortable at times.
yeah.
But anyway, that's just a small thing. The art's still pretty cool. We get some fun outer space stuff and a couple of cool fights. I think Casey's going to be all about it. But I think I'm at about a 6 on this, which isn't really a bad thing because the last one I was at like a 4 on, so it's creeping back up there, and I hope it continues to do so.
So I got a question. Marvel has the the thing of like the way of just being like, hey, you do something that's not comic books. Do you want to write one of our comic books? Oh, okay. And then they got this dude who was a novelist, I'm pretty sure. And like, would you be like, oh, this, the guy that wrote The Thing, Walter Owlsley, that's what his name was, right?
Mosley, I think.
Mosley. He's, he wants to do another book. Would you be about him doing another book, or are you just like, I'm good on you, Walter, you go write your regular books now?
If it was a character that I'm mildly interested in, I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, you and I think both gave issue 1 a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
there's stuff to like.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wasn't sure if you were like, I mean, keep the comic book writing to the comic book writers. I didn't know how
No, I'm not quite that harsh on him yet. If it starts to dip back down, then maybe. But
yeah.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. There are some books that I wouldn't stick around this long for. So
Yeah.
but I want to support. Okay, the next we're gonna do Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Halcyon Legacy number 1.
That's a mouthful.
It is. But Casey, I'll tell you why I picked it up. Or rather, I'll show you why I picked it up.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a Wookiee holding a cool freaking lightsaber, right?
Yeah. And that's like probably gotta be one of your favorite lightsaber designs since it's got the medieval style hilt on it.
You are very correct, sir. So this issue, I'll give a little background info real quick. There is a new like cruise sort of thing coming out in real life that puts you on the Halcyon ship. And
that's
so
pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's going to be like a whole experience. And I know this because one of my Star Wars customers told me about it and has booked one of the first trips.
Nice.
So I hope it's amazing for him and his family. So Star Wars or Marvel did this with a book whenever their last thing came out in Florida. What's that called?
Oh, like the thing at Disney.
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
yeah,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Everyone listening knows. They're all
right.
nerds too.
So they did one of Galaxy's Edge. That's what it
Okay.
is. They did one of these for Galaxy's Edge. They're doing it again for this new thing. It's basically just a collection of short stories. Like this family gets on the Halcyon, or I assume it's called the Halcyon, whatever it's called. I'm calling it that. It is. I just looked. Um, and a robot is giving these people a sort of tour, and he's like, oh, this reminds me of this, and then he tells a short story and we get to see it.
Okay.
So I like that because, as we've talked about several times, sometimes those short stories can be some of the best stories we've ever read.
Yeah. Especially
And
with Star Wars lore,
yeah,
like that's got to be really cool too.
right. And it is. We've got a Wookiee, a Jedi, and a fellow Jedi of his. And they're on the Halcyon, and like a bunch of pirates come on board and they have to fight them off. And it's really awesome, like really, really awesome. There's cool like dog fights out in space with ships, not with dogs. and we get to see the Wookiee fight some pirates and the other Jedi. So like it's very neat. And then the next one is about the two lady bounty hunters from episodes 1 and 2.
Okay.
She was in Attack of the Clones, and then she was briefly seen in episode 1 on Tatooine.
Yeah.
So her name is Aura Singh. I don't remember what the gal from episode 2 is called, but
That one girl with the ponytail, she was like not Boba Fett's level, like popular for a bit, but people were like all about. I remember people being all about this like random background character for a little bit,
which is so Star Wars nerd
mm-hmm.
to be about. I'm sure there's like one single action figure out there of Aura Singh that's worth like $2,000.
Yeah.
But anyway, and this issue is probably going to make it jump up even more, but I like this first one a good bit. It was just good, solid fun. And, if the next one comes out on like another, well, I'll say light week compared to the last few we've had, then I'll probably end up picking it up. But I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Nice. Are you mad that it had nothing to do with the bounty hunter war or whatever?
Yeah, I'm furious. I wanted more of that.
Yeah.
Okay, next we've got Daredevil Woman Without Fear #2. It's written by Chip Zdarsky and art is done by Raphael De La Torre. And we get some more origins. Well, I'll say origin stuff with Elektra and Matt talking about, her original mission was to get him over to the Hand and all that. Meanwhile, she is fighting Craven, so there's plenty to like there. Craven's trying to get the upper hand on her, and it was just really cool, really cool stuff. I like De La Torre's art quite a bit. I love how Zdarsky writes Elektra. It's a shame that this is only 3 issues.
Yeah.
It could be ongoing and I would pick it up, but
I don't know I don't think Zdarsky's doing it, but I know Elektra's getting her own series as Elektra again, so that's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, this one was pretty neato. I will give it an 8 out of 10.
Right on. I'm really excited for it. I loved the last one, so
yeah, you'll like this one too, guaranteed.
All right.
Okay. And then next we've got Suicide Squad #12. It's written by Robbie Thompson and Dennis Hopeless, with art by Eduardo Pansica, Julio Ferreira, Dexter Soy, and Marcelo Maiolo. So several artists working on the book. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's an issue, but it wasn't this time because one of the artists, I'm not sure which one off the top of my head, but they were doing this stuff, and I think this art's super cool.
Yeah. Does it all kind of Or does it all look similar? Because that's like there's like two ways to do it with the multiple artists where it's all like, oh yeah, it's seamless, almost seamless, and then there's other times where it's like, oh, this is from this, like we're doing this like in hell and this one's in heaven, or like, oh, it's this perspective versus this perspective, and that's why it changes, and that works too. But then if they're just changing to change,
So it's
that's when
one. It's that one that you just mentioned
that
because
just changes to change.
no,
Oh,
different
perspectives.
perspectives.
All right.
Because one artist is following the team we've been with, the
Okay.
other artist is following Flag's team, and then the
Okay.
other artist is following Waller. And sadly, I think the main regular artist is the weakest of the three.
Yeah.
I mean the Waller art I think is just like kind of anime and
Yeah, that's pretty
awesome.
cool.
I like it a whole lot, and I think that one's Dexter Soy. But anyway, it's just one of those things where Flag and his team finally think they've got the drop on Waller, and Waller's a step ahead as she always is. So
Mhm.
um the thing is I don't know if this is the final issue because it says to be continued in the pages of War for Earth 3. And usually that means that the series is done. And then after that
Yeah.
event, they'll probably reboot it. But uh it's like, well, are they going to wrap up all the cool like Rick Flag secret team stuff in that book? Because I don't really want to pick up something new.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
probably will.
they probably will. But the thing is like I like enough about this book that I'm like, "Ugh, I'll probably check it out
Hmm.
because I like the Flag stuff. I like the Talon, who's like a double agent pretending to be crazy, but he's not. Like, there's a lot to like about this book.
Yeah.
So we'll see when the time comes if I remember how much I like it and pick it up. But yeah, this one was pretty neat. The stuff with the main team was the weakest part because they're fighting just this, Major Force is just being a douche, which I know that's his thing, but I don't really like it. And then they're fighting this weird, it's just like a giant, it's like Modoc. It's a giant head with little legs and arms, but it's like so powerful and it's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
uh, but the rest is good. So I'm still going to give it an 8.
Nice. Yeah, I have a question. If Major Force steps out of line, what's Waller gonna do to keep him in line? Because if she blows up his head, you have a friggin' nuke going off.
Yeah. I don't know what she could possibly have over him.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And they never brought it up. They probably don't know.
They probably just told Major Force like, hey, you can kill some people, innocent people even. He's like, oh really? Hmm.
Yeah, I think so. Like heck, even your teammates if you want. That
Yeah.
seems like something he'd be all about.
And he's like, oh, do any of them have children that will miss them? He's terrible. If you've never read Major Force, he's an awful, awful person.
Yeah. But moving along, next we've got Monkey Prince #1. And this is written by Jean Lewin Yang, and art is done by Bernard Chang. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like this at all.
Oh man, I was hoping you're gonna be on the Chang and Lang gang, but you aren't.
The thing is like, so the main character is in high school, but he's got, I don't know, maybe this book just isn't for me. He's got this issue with fear, like a very specific reason why that I don't want to spoil. But the things that trigger that fear just aren't believable to me. And maybe it's because I haven't been through such a traumatic experience as he went through. Uh, but it just like keeps coming up several times. And if it's not that catching the first time, the fourth
Mhm.
time, it's like, I'm over it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so there's a bit of that. Um, the guy that plays this weird guy on the cover is pretty entertaining, but you know, the art is solid, but the story and the main character, I will not be continuing with this.
That was a worry for me with this because I remember reading him in the one book that his first appearance is in, and I was like, I don't know about this, but Gene Lewin he just gets the benefit of the doubt for me, and with it being a high schooler, that stuff is always hit and miss anymore for me. So we'll see.
I mean, you like Yang a lot more than I do, so you'll probably like this issue a little more than me. But man, it was a bit of a bummer because I think the Chinese myth around the Monkey King is pretty cool. So I was willing to go all in on this, but no, I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10.
Oof, that's tough.
All right. Next is Dark Knights of Steel #4. And that's written by Tom Taylor. And we've got a guest artist, Bengal is his name, their name. But anyway, it's basically just a filler issue that gives the origin story of Bruce's parents and like their sacrifice for the kingdom. And this is all told from Alfred's perspective to kind of make Bruce get over himself a little bit. Yeah, and that's really all there is to it. So, I mean, it's fine. The art's cool. It is very, you know, high fantasy type of thing. The one complaint that I have is you're made to think that the Green Man, who is the villain here, is Green Lantern because you see the ring, but it's not. It's a mix of Green Lantern, Lex Luthor, and the Joker. So not very cool in my opinion with everything else that's going on. It's like, do we really need the Joker? Like anybody they could use for high fantasy DC magic, they're gonna choose the Joker. Pretty lame in my opinion, but maybe it'll end up being cool because we don't get that much of them in this issue. So we'll see how it plays out. But it's one of those things where like Lex can be such an amazing villain. Why would you soil that by mixing him with the Joker?
In all fairness, the Joker can be an amazing villain too.
Yeah,
it is weird combined, like, but it's also like what makes Joker amazing and what makes Lex amazing don't usually go hand in hand.
Well,
so
that's more what I'm getting at. It's not that I don't like the Joker. We're both reading the Joker.
Yeah.
It's just like if you're gonna give me a villain for this book, I'd take Lex over the Joker any day.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it plays out. It was a fine story. It was just filler, so 7 out of 10. All right, 3 more. I saved my favorite 3 for last. So next we've got One Star Squadron. And so I guess the credits are maybe at the end. Nope. I just love it when they throw it in wherever. All right, we got Mark Russell as the writer and Steve Lieber on art.
We should know that one's easy to remember, but I mean, we'll still forget, but
so yeah, this issue was good as all of them are. It's Red Tornado trying to be a good person in a world that is just not good people, right? And there's still some really solid humor in it. I'm excited for you to read it, Casey, and tell me your thoughts on it. There are several funny parts, but there's one in particular that I'm thinking about. Otherwise, we get some corporate stuff behind this Heroes for You company, and and then we actually get some Superman and what he thinks of all this in it too. So lots to like. There is one joke that I want to say just because I just thought it was hilarious, but oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name.
Power Girl.
Yes, Power Girl. I couldn't think of Power. I knew the girl part. Power Girl's like, "Hey GI, have you read Maxwell Lord's new book?" And he says, "Is this when a human would pretend to be interested?" It's like, oh man, he is all of us when anyone's like, "You should check out this."
Yeah.
But anyway, I like this book a lot. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
You should check this book out.
I know, right? That's us every single week.
But no, I'm excited for that one. It's just such a delight. Which it's weird because the other Mark Russell stuff that I've read has not been that much fun. So I'm glad that this is, and it's just, good times.
Yeah. And I would like to say the difference is that people voluntarily come back and listen to us pitch books every week.
Yeah, true.
Okay, next is well, I'll do this in the order that we would. So I'll do Arkham City next and save Batman for last. It's written by Dan Waters and art is by Danny.
How many issues is left of this?
1.
Oh,
this was the penultimate issue here.
You moderately like sad, or even loving this?
I am. This, dude, as I'll probably say a 5th time next week, or 6th time, but I mean, this is like peak early 2000s Vertigo, which who doesn't love that stuff?
Yeah.
So I'll be very sad when it's over. But anyway, all of these characters that we've seen so far, like the vampire lady and the atomic man and 10-eyed man and the doctor from Arkham Asylum that's been roped into all this, all of them are just either insane or questioning their sanity. And now they've all come together by the end of this. And they all think they're seeing the ghost of Arkham. And the ghost shows up at the end and convinces all of them to follow him and that he's going to make them all feel much better. And where the ghost leads them is to Professor Pig's current hideout. And he welcomes all of them and promises that Pig's asylum is going to make them all perfect. So well, here's the cover. It's this faceless lady that I was telling you about. I guess she's like a shapeshifter. She can turn into whatever she wants. So she turns into this ghost of Arkham to convince people that they can fix everything, and then actually leads them to Professor Pig so he can work on them.
Yeah.
Which, is plenty creepy. Professor Pig creeps me out, as he should.
Yeah. Yeah, he is not cool. I mean, he's cool, but you know what I mean.
Right. So we'll see how it happens. It is like, as much as I've been loving this, a part of me is like, it's a shame that all of the mystery around everything is just going to be them essentially fighting Professor Pig at the end of this.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out, because the 10-eyed man is such a bizarre and insane character that it's like none of the Professor Pig stuff has anything to do with him. So I wonder if he's like going to save the day somehow, because he can somehow see all these things and do all these things that nobody can explain. So we'll see. But it was still a great issue, and it's an easy 9 out of 10 for me.
Nice, man. Now, are you going to pick up other books written by this dude?
Yep, I am. He I'm willing to, like, without question, try out whatever he does next.
Right on.
And I hope that it's just as good. Which, didn't I say last week that he's doing that Man Who Fell to Earth book?
I don't recall, but maybe.
I think it's the same writer. But anyway. All right. And we wrap up with Batman number 120. And it's written by Joshua Williamson. And the art is done by both Jorge Molina and Mikel Hanin. So, Casey, you already know without me saying that the art is fantastic in this book with those two on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way that they play on the darkness that Abyss uses in this with like light and colors, it's just extraordinary. I really, really like it. But anyway, essentially, Batman is trying to get to Batman Inc. to figure out how they're involved in all this and to clear their name. But there's a really cool twist at the end that I'm not going to spoil that explains some of that mystery. And like, if Casey had read this book as well, I would show the final page to the camera because it is just so good.
You might have had this spoiled for me. Was that the Lex Luthor Batman?
No.
Okay, never mind then.
That is in the comic, though.
Yeah, I knew that. I saw that part.
But yeah, it's just this one whole page is one of the best looking pages I've ever seen. So, but anyway, and then the backup is the story that I like that Casey didn't really care for about that kid and Batman with the little monsters. It turns out they're kappas, which are beasts from Japanese mythology. So I still am enjoying that. The art is cool, and I like this kid who like is trying to be Robin, even though Batman wants nothing to do with them. But overall, I mean, I like this whole issue a lot. It's not a perfect 10. I'm going to give it a 9, but man, it's real close.
Right on. So
That's
since you read so many comics this week, tell me which ones you're excited about for this coming week.
Well, sure, I'd love to. First up is going to be, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, Batgirls number 3. Can't wait for that. Norse mythology kicks back up with volume 3, so I'm excited for that. And then I don't remember why, but there is a new one shot, a new Hellboy one shot coming out that sounded super cool, so I ordered that for the store, but that's going to be the other one.
Right, and then for me, I'm gonna go with I'll say the I've had it, and Devil's Reign. There's another one that I had, but I can't find it now. But then like 2 that I saw when I was looking over this that I didn't tell you that I need to make you get me is the new Maestro, because I didn't see that the first time I was looking over this. Because holy crap, that's gonna be super good. I'm really excited about that. And then Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man has just been really good.
Now, instead of saying also these 2, just send me a new list with everything so I don't miss it. I always feel bad when I miss stuff.
That's all good. I mean, I text Fantasy Shop and then they're like, oh, he's doing this again. But, it's whatever.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
Okay, so with Madam Web getting her own movie, and then Moon Knight also getting a TV show and all this stuff, like give me 4 C-list characters you want a movie of or a TV show of. Do you like that I kind of gave a little jab about Moon Knight in there too? Like, a C-lister.
Oh, dude, you and your dad used to be relentless about me liking Moon Knight.
Well, with me, I was just like, he's just a B-lister, and you got really upset. I'm like, he is. It's just, that's all there is to it. Like, he is not an A-list hero, period.
Well, he was A-list in my heart.
Yeah, he was top of the class in my heart.
So the first one that comes to mind is because I actually saw an article about this. I'm going to say Gambit. Now, if you remember a few years
Yes,
ago,
I saw this article too.
Channing Tatum was supposed to play Gambit. He wanted to co-direct. He just loved this character so much. He was going to pour everything into it, and the studio did not want anything to do with it, nor did any of the fans. Um, but somebody was interviewing Channing Tatum and asked him about like Marvel movies, and he said that he just was too heartbroken over the Gambit situation that he couldn't possibly watch any of the Marvel movies. And dude, did you see the one quote about what he loved about Gambit?
No.
It was like, Gambit's so cool. Oh, there's the timer for the comics, which we beat. Uh, he's like, Gambit's so cool. He does whatever he wants, and he's really into fashion. Like, that's a quote. And
Well,
I'm like, okay, Gambit does look cool, but in none of the books is he like a fashionista.
like what annoyed me is when he was talking about what he wanted to do. He wanted to do like I was gonna do like a raunchy Deadpool style like Gambit movie, like there's like a romantic comedy but with superheroes. It's like that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not a big fan of the overly raunchy stuff because it's like, boy, how many of those comics have we actually read? Oh, there aren't any. Like you talk about being a fan, but then you're just like, oh, we're just gonna make this really dirty. It's like, no, that's not how that works, guys. Come on.
And also, he's just not a good pick for the character.
No.
But anyway, so I would want a Gambit series. I would just want it to be done properly.
I think a really cool Ocean's 11 Gambit led series have like Gambit, but then other like weird mutants in there.
Dude, I mean, you know how much I love that James Asmus series that was written in like 2010. Um, that was the perfect Gambit series. All they need to do is use that as source material where there's like the League of Thieves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need. Um, I'm gonna say Ragman in the same respect. The Arrow stuff had cool parts, but overall wasn't a great Ragman in my opinion. But I think there's tons of potential there for that to be like a cult character. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, for like a goofy one, or like a comedic one, like Ambush Bug. I think
Yeah.
there's potential there for that. I know that you're not digging him in the Suicide Squad, but like, I don't know. There's all the fixins there for something great.
I mean, if they did an animated Ambush Bug with Henry Winkler back as the voice, because he was about perfect in the Brave and the Bold. So,
Yeah.
yeah, be pretty good.
And then the final one, like I know I'm kind of going like mostly DC here, but those are my favorite characters. Animal Man.
Yeah, be
I
good.
think a neat like 10 episode series about Animal Man could be cool.
Yeah, for sure. Mine are mostly stupid. But my first one is like the serious one, Thunderstrike. If you could do Thunderstrike, I'd be so happy. But like just keep the 90s aesthetic. Like that's what I want from a Thunderstrike. And while we're on the subject of 90s Marvel characters, there's this character, his name's Adam X, who, if you look at him, just Google him, most 90s character of all time. He has a backwards hat, knives all over his body.
He looks awesome. He really
Yeah,
does.
like so stupidly cool. Long flowing hair, of course, because like that's I guess hair must be fun to draw because like that was like a lot of the 90s characters too. Just ridiculous. Like his powers are like blood related. It's stupid. Um, then Matter Eater Lad is another one that's high up on my on my list, and I want like a gritty detective chimp series.
Oh, okay, that was a separate thought. I was like a gritty matter eater.
That would be good too. Have someone go around like eating people, and like they didn't leave any bones. It must be Matter Eater Lad. And he's just like, I gotta clear my name, gotta eat my way out of this. That's the title. Gotta eat my way out of this.
You just come up with $1 million ideas on the fly. It
Right?
amazes me.
Well, thank you, man.
All right. Well, I think that's the end of the episode. Our 100th episode.
So. We started with a bang and we ended with a little whimper.
Well, we're not like done.
Oh, we aren't?
No, are you done? He's joking. We're not done. Please come back. But anyway, guys, whether you've been here from episode 1 or episode 99, we appreciate you.
Still waiting for Anime Boys,
which is coming very soon. Very soon.
Maybe this week.
Could be this week. We're waiting on one final piece, which is nearly there. But anyway, I'll get into the closing plugs. Just know that we appreciate you guys and hope they keep sticking around. But if you would, please go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And you can also find us on YouTube. That is just 2 Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
And leave a comment and say like what your favorite thing about this podcast is down below, or your least favorite. Be like, what I hate is when Casey talks, I just hate it. Like, I was really excited that he was going to be gone. It was just going to be Jake. That would be like, that's
like,
hurtful.
Man, how have you stuck around for so long if that's how you feel? Oh, man. But also remember, if you do want a best of from us, then we need you to tell us.
Yeah, because I mean, that's like, I'm not going to put the time in to do all that editing without someone going, we need this, because that's going to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'd love to stay in chat, but we gotta make 100 more episodes. Bye, guys.
Bye.